Have you ever wondered why some people are respected without trying, while others constantly chase approval and still feel unseen? What if the difference isn't talent, money, or status, but self-worth? Knowing your worth is not about arrogance. It's about self-respect. It's about understanding your value and refusing to accept less than you deserve. When you truly know your worth, you stop begging for attention, approval, or validation. You move differently. You speak differently. You accept only what matches your standards. In this video, you'll learn why knowing your worth changes your confidence, your relationships, and your decisions. When you understand your value, you stop settling, you stop over-explaining, and you stop chasing what doesn't choose you. And before we begin, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Point 1. Self-worth starts with self-respect. Self-worth begins with how you see and treat yourself every single day. If you constantly ignore your own needs, allow disrespect, or accept less than you deserve, you silently send a message, not only to others, but to yourself, that this is all you are worth. Over time, this becomes a pattern. People respond to the standards you set. If you lower those standards just to be liked, included, or accepted, you slowly weaken your own value. Self-respect means honoring your boundaries, even when it's uncomfortable. It means saying no when something doesn't feel right. It means walking away from conversations, environments, or relationships that drain you. It also means keeping your promises to yourself. When you say you will improve, grow, or change something in your life, and you follow through, you build internal respect. And that internal respect becomes confidence. When you respect yourself, you stop chasing people who don't choose you. You stop trying to prove your worth to those who refuse to see it. You stop over-explaining, over-apologizing, and over-giving just to feel valued. Instead, you move with quiet assurance. You understand that your value does not decrease because someone fails to recognize it. The way you treat yourself teaches others how to treat you. If you speak about yourself with doubt and insecurity, people will sense it. If you carry yourself with dignity and self-control, people will sense that too. Your posture, your tone, your boundaries, they all communicate your level of self-respect. Knowing your worth is not about arrogance or thinking you are better than others. It is about understanding that you deserve respect, honesty, loyalty, and fairness, just like anyone else. It is about refusing to settle for less than what aligns with your standards. When you truly respect yourself, you stop negotiating your value. You stop shrinking to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. And that is where real self-worth begins, quietly, firmly, and from within. Point 2. Stop seeking external validation. When you depend on other people to confirm your value, you give them control over how you feel about yourself. If someone praises you, you feel confident. If someone ignores you, criticizes you, or doesn't approve of you, your confidence drops. This creates an emotional cycle where your self-worth rises and falls based on other people's opinions. The problem with external validation is that it is unstable. People's opinions change. Attention fades. Praise comes and goes. If your confidence depends on these things, it will always feel uncertain. You will constantly look for reassurance. You will overthink what others think about you. You will adjust yourself just to receive approval. True self-worth is different. It does not depend on likes, compliments, applause, or recognition. It comes from how you see yourself when no one is watching. It comes from your standards, your discipline, your growth, and your integrity. When you validate yourself, you no longer need constant confirmation from others to feel valuable. This doesn't mean you ignore feedback or stop caring completely. It means your foundation is internal, not external. Compliments become appreciated, not required. Criticism becomes information, not an attack on your identity. When you stop chasing approval, you move differently. You make decisions based on your values, not on what will impress others. You speak honestly instead of trying to please everyone. You stop performing and start living with authenticity. Real confidence begins when you realize that your worth is not up for debate. It is not decided by popularity, attention, or validation. It is something you build within yourself, steady, quiet, and unshakable. Point 3. You teach people how to treat you. The behavior you accept becomes the standard. This means that what you allow, ignore, or tolerate slowly becomes normal. If someone disrespects you once and you say nothing, they may try again. If they cancel on you repeatedly and you continue accepting it without consequence, they learn that your time is not a priority. Over time, patterns form, and those patterns are shaped by what you permit. People pay attention to your reactions. When you stay silent in moments where you should speak up, you unintentionally communicate that the behavior is acceptable. When you laugh off disrespect, over-explain bad treatment, or make excuses for others, you lower the standard for how you are treated. This does not mean being aggressive or confrontational. It means having clear boundaries. It means calmly addressing behavior that crosses the line. It means walking away when necessary. Boundaries are not about controlling others, they are about protecting your own value. When you respect yourself and enforce your standards, people adjust. Some will rise to meet your expectations. Others will leave. And that is okay. Anyone who cannot meet your basic standards was never aligned with your worth in the first place. Understanding this rule changes how you move in relationships, work, and life. You stop blaming others completely and start recognizing your role in what you allow. The moment you raise your standards, your environment begins to change. You teach people how to treat you, not with words alone, but with what you accept, what you reject, and what you walk away from. Point 4. Walk away from what doesn't value you. Knowing your worth means understanding that not every place, person, or opportunity deserves access to you. Sometimes, the strongest move you can make is to leave. Staying in situations where you are not respected, appreciated, or valued slowly damages your confidence and self-respect. The longer you stay where you are tolerated instead of valued, the more you begin to question your own importance. It is not always easy to walk away. You may have invested time, energy, emotions, or effort. You may have built memories, shared experiences, or future plans. You may hope things will change if you try harder, give more, or wait longer. But when a pattern of disrespect, neglect, or imbalance continues, staying only teaches others that you will accept less than you deserve. And over time, it teaches you the same thing. Walking away is not about pride or ego. It is about protection. It is about choosing peace over constant stress and choosing dignity over temporary comfort. When you remain in environments that make you feel small, ignored, or unimportant, you slowly begin to shrink yourself. You may speak less, expect less, and accept less. That quiet lowering of standards is what slowly weakens self-worth. Leaving requires courage. It requires trusting that something better exists, even if you cannot see it yet. It requires believing that your value does not decrease just because someone failed to recognize it. Not everyone will see your worth, and that is okay. The key is making sure you see it clearly yourself and act accordingly. When you walk away from what does not value you, you create space for what does. You raise your standards without saying a word. You protect your time, your energy, and your peace. You send a clear message to yourself that you deserve better, and you are willing to stand by that belief. Sometimes, growth begins the moment you decide you deserve better, and prove it through your actions. Point 5. Confidence comes from standards, not ego. True confidence is quiet and steady. It is not about showing off, boasting, or trying to prove yourself to others. Self-worth is not arrogance. Arrogance is loud, reactive, and dependent on others noticing it. Confidence, on the other hand, comes from knowing your value and holding yourself to your own standards, not anyone else's approval. When you have clear standards, you know what you will accept and what you will not. You understand your boundaries, your skills, your worth, and your limits. Confidence grows naturally when you live according to those standards. You do not need to beg for recognition, exaggerate your abilities, or overcompensate. You carry a quiet strength because you already know your value. This kind of confidence is steady. It doesn't fluctuate with compliments or criticism because it is based on an internal sense of worth. You can remain calm in situations where others try to challenge you, undervalue you, or dismiss you. You don't overreact because you are secure in your own standards and integrity. Living by your standards also improves your decisions. You no longer settle for less, compromise your values, or chase validation. You focus on what aligns with your worth, which naturally attracts people, opportunities, and environments that respect and match your value. In short, confidence rooted in standards is lasting, quiet, and unshakable. Ego seeks attention, standards create respect. When you build your confidence on your standards, not your ego, your worth becomes undeniable, without needing to announce it. Point 6. Growth increases your value. Your worth grows when you invest in yourself, mentally, physically, and emotionally. This means learning new skills, improving your mindset, taking care of your body, and managing your emotions. Every step you take to improve yourself makes you stronger, more confident, and more capable. Growth is not just about achieving goals, it's about becoming the kind of person who knows their value and won't settle for less. The more you improve, the less you tolerate situations, people, or opportunities that do not match your worth. When you grow, you naturally raise your standards. You stop accepting disrespect, mediocrity, or anything that drains your energy. Improvement creates clarity, you begin to see what aligns with your value and what doesn't. Growth also strengthens your confidence. As you invest in yourself and see progress, you start trusting your judgment and abilities. You rely less on others to validate your worth because your sense of value comes from your own efforts and development. You become someone who attracts respect, opportunities, and people who match the energy you bring. In short, growth is a key way to increase your value and reinforce your self-worth. Every effort you make to improve yourself, learning, exercising, reflecting, or managing your emotions, compounds over time. The stronger you become, the more you recognize that settling is no longer an option. Growth doesn't just increase your skills, it increases your confidence, your standards, and the way the world perceives your worth. Point 7. Think before you speak. Thinking before you speak is one of the most powerful ways to show confidence and self-respect. Words are not just sounds, they carry meaning, influence, and impact. When you speak without thinking, you risk saying things you don't mean, over-explaining, or giving others control over your message. Taking a moment to pause before speaking allows you to choose your words carefully and speak with intention. Many people react immediately, especially in tense or emotional situations. But reacting too quickly often leads to mistakes. Words can be misinterpreted, emotions can take over, and your message can get lost. A brief pause before responding shows that you are in control of yourself and the situation. It signals to others that your words are measured, thoughtful, and deliberate. Thinking before speaking also protects your value. You avoid giving unnecessary information, making excuses, or saying something that diminishes your position. It helps you stay focused on what truly matters, keeping your communication clear and strong. Over time, this practice builds respect because people notice that your words are intentional, not random or reactive. Pausing and reflecting before you speak also improves your confidence. You start to trust your judgment more because you are not constantly reacting to the opinions or emotions of others. Instead, you respond in a way that aligns with your standards and self-worth. In short, thinking before you speak turns your words into a tool, not a risk. It shows control, respect, and intelligence. Strong communicators know the power of a pause, and they use it to make their words carry weight, influence, and authority. Knowing your worth is not a one-time realization, it's a way of living. It's about respecting yourself, setting boundaries, and refusing to accept less than you deserve. It's about walking away from what doesn't value you, growing every day, and speaking with purpose and confidence. Your worth is not determined by others. It is determined by the way you carry yourself, the standards you set, and the choices you make. When you act from this place of self-respect, your presence speaks louder than your words. People notice, opportunities align, and your life begins to reflect the value you know you hold. Remember, you do not need to prove your value to anyone. You do not need permission, approval, or validation. Your worth is inherent, undeniable, and non-negotiable. Stand firm. Speak with clarity. Walk with confidence. And never forget that the strongest power comes from knowing exactly what you are worth.